Hello and welcome to Cricket-O-Mania, and what a mania it's been. India beat England after 28 years at Lord's. This is the second win in 80 years. The numbers are clearly boggling, and we're going to talk about what are the key takeaways from this match and what does it mean for the Indian cricket team in future in terms of skills, in terms of play, in terms of the whole ability to really hold its own and feel confident and the rest of it. Ayaz Memon, co-anchor, the cricket expert, is here with me. Also joining us, Abhishek Dubey, another cricket journalist, and also cricketer Anand Yalviji from Bangalore. Thank you so much all for joining. Ayaz, the field is yours.
Well, I think it's been a spectacular win. I hate to use the word historic because we have won at Lord's earlier.
That's right.
We won a match in 1986. We won the World Cup at Lord's. We won the NatWest Trophy at Lord's. So in that sense, it's not historic, but a 28 test match win after 28 years is something extraordinary, and that's not just it, Govind. When this team went there, this is a very raw
and
Indian
we talked
team.
about this.
We talked about it.
Mahendra Singh Dhoni do anything?
He's the most experienced player. There are 5 of them who've never been to England earlier. This is pretty much a young team. You may have stars like Virat Kohli and Cheteshwar Pujara and Rohit Sharma, but they're all young.
And we also talked about, can this team perform in an international pitch?
Absolutely. And for the fact that India won this match through the help of the fast bowlers. Yes, the batsmen played their part, but Ishant Sharma coming good and kind of giving it to the English as good as they got, perhaps even better, is something that is a source of great joy. And I think there are dimensions to this win which in the days to come we'll probably hear a little more about. Just to give you an example, 1976, when the West Indies landed in England, Tony Greig, the England captain, boasted that I'll make them grovel. And what happened was that the West Indians rubbed their noses into the ground. I suspect that what happened at Trent Bridge between James Anderson and Jadeja has been a trigger to a newfound resilience, a newfound kind of determination to set things right, even in a kind of a holistic sense. So that's really been the trigger for me.
So Anand, who's sort of played Ranji for Karnataka, Maharashtra, Mumbai, joins us. Anand, what's your takeaway? What's your give us your your headline or your key takeaways from what you saw at Lord's?
I think it's a fantastic win by India, and I think Ishant did bowl well, but I think that was expected of him after playing 55 Test matches. I think it's long overdue. And I'm glad that he's risen to the occasion and proven that he's a force to reckon with. But apart from all this, I think one should not forget the contribution of even Pujara, Rahane, who spent some time on the green top. I think that was one of the greenest pitch I have seen probably in London. I don't know. Ayaz will probably say on that because he's seen much more Test matches at Lord's, but. Rahane was something. His innings was which was a pillar for the Indian team to look forward to getting that kind of total in the first innings, which is the most critical. Along with that, I think the fielding was amazing, and not to forget, Dhoni's captainship. We all say that he's sometimes he's a slow thinker and he doesn't take decisions. He's little defensive in Test matches compared to one-dayers, but I think the way he handled his bowlers was an exceptional, thought, and probably it was long overdue for Dhoni as well. Probably he knew that this is the kind of series which was quite critical to prove his prowess as a leader.
So and the scores, of course, India 295 and 342, and England 319, and then 223, 88.2 overs all out. Just to sum up. Where the
95-run victory.
But something happened in the towards the end, which changed the entire game, and it was almost a sort of unpredictable, unexpected development.
It was actually shocking, quite stunning to watch. I thought that was an insane session after lunch. It just seemed like the English batsmen were coming out to commit harakiri because they obviously had a kind of a change in tactics. The Indian team as well as the English team. The Indian team came and said, we must attack them with the short delivery. The England team, having defended, dourly for almost 4 hours, decided they must attack. And so they attacked. And the first 10-15 minutes, gave them about 20 runs, and it almost seemed that the match would run away from India. And just the point that Anand was making, that Mahendra Singh Dhoni, as we know now, insisted that Ishant should bowl the short pitch delivery because he said that's the best way to get them out, and it paid rich dividends. Now, it's a very thin line that captains, they always walk the plank. Had this strategy backfired, then instead of Alistair Cook, who's facing all the daggers and swords and cannonballs and whatever else, it would have been Dhoni.
Yeah.
But I think, to put it in perspective, and I agree with Anand, it's been a fantastic team effort. What happened on the last day might make you forget what happened on the first day, but on the first day, Ajinkya Rahane played one of the great counter-attacking innings that I have seen in recent
And what about the pitch itself? Anand was talking about the greenness of the pitch.
Top.
And how did that or could that have helped India to the extent that
well, the look of it could have frightened most Indian players or most Indian teams, because you don't normally see such pitches anywhere in India. Most likely not anywhere else in the world. Maybe some pitches in New Zealand and some here. I think that England actually opted for that kind of a pitch after the ball track at Trent where they felt that it was an Indian pitch that they were playing on. And look at the handicap. Alistair Cook won the toss, put India into bat in the most hostile conditions for batting, and India scored almost 300. And I think, but for Rahane, we would never have been in the match. But for Jadeja, on the fourth day, along with Bhuvneshwar Kumar putting up that 101 run partnership or 99 run partnership, you would never have been in the match. So there have been game changers for India right through. And then of course Ishant capped it up with a spectacular spell. But remember Bhuvneshwar Kumar, 36, 50, a half century and 6 wickets in the first innings.
So if we were to take away themes, right, and that's what we're trying to do today. So one you're saying is Dhoni's ability or Dhoni's decision to allow Ishant Sharma to bowl, or rather ask Ishant Sharma to bowl short. Insisted. Okay. So he insisted that Ishant Sharma should bowl, therefore taking a calculated gamble.
Yes, right. He took a calculated gamble. I think that's, in 2 sessions they needed 146 runs, very gettable.
Right.
Otherwise, but not if you lose a quick wicket after lunch.
Right. So that's one takeaway, which also reflects in some ways in favor of Dhoni's ability to captain and all and the rest of it. Let me ask Anand for another one. Anand, what's your one or two other key takeaways or themes from this whole victory and the way the Indian team delivered?
I've got probably 3 points to highlight here. One is I want to discuss something about Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Okay, last year when he was with us, I was with the Pune Warriors team and he was with us. So I was on the physio table trying to get my knee mended from the physiotherapist, and he was sitting around. So I asked him, Bhuvi, you're not taking any massage from the Messiah, because most of the players in the room are going for a massage. He answered brilliantly, and that's probably one of the highlight of his thought process, is that he said, see, I have played all my life in Lucknow and in UP, where even if you're injured, you have to take care of your own injuries. You don't have to go for a massage. That shows his simplicity, and I think most of the legends also on social media and on the news channels have mentioned the way Bhuvneshwar Kumar handles himself. He's got some talent, and he's proving it himself by keeping it simple. That's point one. Right. Point two also is, let's not forget the climatic conditions, because the first day when we saw the green top at Lord's, I'm sure had it been the traditional English, climatic conditions, the green top would have remained for a while. But because of the heat, I think it went on to get a faster pitch. And hence, I think critically, the Ishant spell was important because the ball started skidding off the wicket. Had it been a typical English summer where, there is overcast conditions with a little bit of rain, I think the grass would have still remained and the ball would have gone slow off the wicket. So this is point two. And to come to another point about Dhoni is, I think the way he is, not only captain in this test, but his overall, captaincy over the years, one thing needs to be, given him credit is that he's not bothered about what the media says. So if his decision of standing behind the stumps for Jadeja, 5 feet behind the stumps, or for that matter, not ensuring that he doesn't give a spell to Stuart Binney, because he feels at that point of the time is the team is much more important than what he's picked the players for. So if he feels that a certain player is good enough for a certain session, then he goes ahead with his own decision, because at the end of the day, he takes the flag, but at the same point of time, he gives the credit to his team. That's something which is really commendable for a captain.
If I were to sort of keep picking up on some themes, which which are, one is to do, of course, with the conditions in which the game was played. The second is, of course, the performance of the players individually. The third is the performance of the team as an integrated unit. What would really stand out, Ayaz?
I think the first big important takeaway is that India can win overseas. It's been a long while. This was the 15th match they were playing. Of the 14, I think we've lost about 9 or 10. So that's not a happy record, and most of them with Dhoni as captain. So Dhoni had a terrible record on paper overseas, a terrific record at home. The imbalance was so stark that it became almost a controversy, and there were questions raised even by somebody as astute as Ian Chappell, who said that he doesn't think Dhoni is a Test captain at all.
Right.
So the fact that India could beat England in England at Lord's shows that yes, India can win overseas. There is a little self-belief which was lost, but that self-belief seems to have come in, because throughout the match there were situations where actually India were on the back foot. India were in deep trouble, but they pulled themselves out of a hole every time. The other is, the three players most pilloried have been Ishant Sharma, Ravindra Jadeja and Dhoni himself.
Right.
Ishant Sharma for not being a consistent wicket taker. Jadeja, everybody was chiding him, saying that he's a flunky of the captain.
So Ayaz, I'm going to come to you and Anand, and we'll talk a little bit about the same match from the English side, right? I mean, but before we do that, we also asked a lot of youngsters and others about what they felt were the takeaways, and this is all in and around the city of Mumbai, Shivaji Park, which is of course the shrine of cricket in the city.
The best of the whole Test series is they played very, very well, and they had a good sporting spirit, and I like the way they played.
I like the way how India plays. Like, they never lose hope. It's like a do or die situation. They keep playing like to the fullest, and players like Virat Kohli and all, even though they play aggressive, they don't lose. They are they always are inspired through the game.
It's a long one, but still the cricket lovers watch it. They play well.
India winning at Lord's is something like they will be playing good in the Test series. Like the batsman side will be good, and the bowling side will be much better than that, because the bowlers like Ishant Sharma and many of them are really good bowlers in Indian team.
They have won after 28 years. It's quite exciting to see that India has won against England. So it's pretty nice to know that after 28 years, that's a long time. So everyone's excited about it.
Yeah, it was a good match, and India played really well, and it was a very good win. Hard work paid.
Okay, hard work paid. And that young lady was talking about 28 years. Of course, it's quite likely that the match was last won before she was born. Okay, so let's look at it from the English side. Ayaz, what about how did they play? Did they, as many have pointed out or have suggested, did not perform to the same kind of level as they normally do? What were their weaknesses?
I think the English team was very vulnerable. Let's accept it. They've come back from Australia with a drubbing, 5-0. They lost the Test series to Sri Lanka at home. So they were in the dumps, to be honest. I thought somewhere what perhaps they've miscalculated is that, I think they tried to use a lot of bluster and aggro, perhaps a little egotism against this Indian team who they had beaten 4-0 the last time, without having the wherewithal. The batting is hit an all-time low.
And there was that whole Anderson issue hanging there, but then the run out, which was, I thought...
Yeah, which was very ironical. But I think that they miscalculated that this Indian team perhaps is far more resilient than it looks on paper, and they are gritty. I think the takeaway, if you ask me, Govind, is also, look, apart from the self-belief, and Dhoni, I think, is taken complete charge in more ways than one, because in 2011 he still had Tendulkar, Lakshman, Dravid, Harbhajan, Yuvraj, all senior giants, to him, giants of the game, Zahir Khan, all there. This is a team which is entirely, virtually his own. Rahane coming of age as a Test batsman. I mean, he's been a very good Test batsman, but he's not played too many Test matches. He's had a long time on the bench. He's come of age as a Test batsman. Murali Vijay, unsung batsman. He's not the big star. He's batted fabulously. Great levels of concentration, terrific technique. Bhuvneshwar Kumar developing into an all-rounder, a genuine all-rounder of great promise. And Jadeja showing
and what do you think of the point that Anand said, that Bhuvneshwar, the simplicity, his statement that I'm not going to go for a massage, where I come from, we tend to fix these problems ourselves.
I've met him a few times, because I met him when I was doing commentary, and he comes across as a very rooted individual. In that sense, he is very Dhoni-like, he smiles more often than
Before
Dhoni.
Dhoni became the 22nd
He
richest.
smiles more often than Dhoni. He's a very charming young man, but he's also very focused. Now he's been playing overseas without much success in test matches. This was his big tour because this is the kind of conditions that suit him. But he's shown equal ability with bat and ball. That's I think the big plus point for India.
Right. Okay. So Anand, how do you look at and what are your observations on the same match from the English point of view?
Yeah, I think like what Ayaz mentioned, when this team has gone through some horrific time in Australia and then losing at Sri Lanka at home, I think their strategy of leadership was something which needs to be questioned. The way Cook is batting, the way he has handled the team with the issue with Kevin Peterson, what happened with him, I think it was imperative for the English selectors, or it was a great opportunity for them to blood in some youngsters and give them an opportunity against India when it's a 5-test series. So one thing is they went wrong with going with some players which they shouldn't have gone with. And I think time has come for the English selectors to look at the leadership skills of Cook and maybe give him a break and get somebody else on board to lead the side. Also surprising, I mean, we've been speaking of the English team not having a good spinner, and I think persisting with Moeen Ali was a surprise thing because he looks to be a decent off spinner, but doesn't look someone who's going to go on and get you some 5-wicket haul. So that's something, because I think he probably bowls one exceptional ball in 4 or 5 overs, but again, that's something which an Indian batsman is used to playing in India. So overall, I think they need to look at the composition of the team. They should try and blood in some youngsters who've been performing well in the county circuit. Look at probably changing the captain of the England team, and you never know, things might change. But at the same point of time, the Indian team should also not be complacent enough of the euphoria of getting a victory at Lord's after 28 years, and so we need to be really careful of how we take this series further, because the third test match is going to be very critical and how we perform.
So, okay, Anand, let me just interrupt you there for a second. We also did a quiz. Okay, so we try and have fun in Cricket-O-Mania, and we also did a quiz and asked a bunch of youngsters who's the captain of the English cricket team, and let's see what they had to say.
2?
I think 6 years.
28.
28 years.
Exactly, I don't know about that.
Maybe a decade.
Maybe after 50.
20?
No idea.
40.
60.
100?
A couple days?
I think Kapil Dev.
Same Sunil Gavaskar.
Kapil Dev.
Kevin Peterson.
Kevin Peterson.
Harmison.
I guess it's Michael Essien.
Right, okay, so very interesting answers. The last one, of course, was about who's the captain of the English cricket team. So Anand, sorry, I interrupted you there, and we were talking about the game from the English point of view, and just to quickly touch upon that whole Anderson issue, and that's still alive because both sides have to now go into deliberations.
The hearing for Anderson is deferred till after the third test.
Yes.
Jadeja is going to meet the ICC
in this
Judicial Committee
today,
between today and tomorrow. So I think that you are not going to expect a verdict, or you can't expect a verdict till both sides have been heard.
Right.
But just to take up from where Anand was saying, look, I think the biggest problem for the England cricket team is now their captain, not just because of Cook's unimaginative captaincy, quote unquote, but also his abysmal form. He's just not able to get runs. This English team is like
Mark Nicholas, who's saying that is it maybe time that Alistair Cook will get a tap on his shoulder?
He probably will.
The selectors have to do something.
Unfortunately for him, he's that kind of a batsman who can't be pushed down the order and shielded and say, okay, for some time bat at number 4, number 5 till you regain your confidence. You're not going out there and playing the first ball of the innings and vulnerable again. He was their best batsman for a fairly long time, along with Kevin Peterson. But he just doesn't seem to be putting bat to ball. But otherwise, and the other big problem for them is their other senior pro, Ian Bell, is also completely bereft of runs. So two big guys not getting runs is a big blow. Otherwise, they've got a lot of young talent. Balance, Robson, Moeen Ali, Joe Root, Ben Stokes, who's making no runs but doing a decent job with the ball. So I don't think that they haven't experimented with youngsters. They haven't just come good, because it's like the head of the fish. If that's rotten, then the whole body goes.
Right. So you are saying a change could be in the offing.
I think a change could be very much in the offing. I'm waiting to hear what Kevin Peterson tweets, because he's been gunning for Cook for a long time.
Okay. Right. So I think the question now we want to ask is how much of this, which is the Indian team's good run that we've seen in this test match, can continue, and what could be the factors that might either inhibit it, or if they work upon it substantially or sufficiently, could actually help them get better. Shall I begin with Anand?
Yes.
Anand, go ahead.
Yes, see, like most of the cricketers, or for that matter, every day we perform, and it's not that we perform every day. So we need to be confident. We need to feel happy. The boys should go back and enjoy for a day or two, get their energies back. But I think just before the test match, they should regroup and probably focus on what's going to come by in the next test, and not think too much of the victory or the euphoria which has come with this victory at Lord's. Also quite critical is I'm going to be quite interested in seeing what tactics Dhoni uses. I mean, in terms of team selection, we don't know how the pitch is going to be there, but whether he persists with Jadeja or he goes back to Ashwin, gets him on board, or we have played two spinners, does he keep Stuart Binney out, is quite very interesting to see the way he decides the team composition. But otherwise, I think, excepting for Virat, I think, who hasn't got a look in, but I think he's a great player, and I'm sure he's going to come of ages in the coming test or in the next innings, whichever he plays. But otherwise, I think all the players are doing well. Shikhar Dhawan needs a little more of a stay on the pitch, but Pujara, Rahane, all the other batsmen are doing well. So it's interesting to see what kind of team composition we have for the next test.
Right. So, Anand, a supplementary question to that: the one or two weaknesses that you spotted. I mean, despite the victory, I mean, obviously not everything has gone right. The one or two weaknesses that you spotted, which the Indian team would do good to sort of pay attention to.
Sorry, I didn't get a question.
So the question is, I mean, despite the victory, there must have been a few things, and there are a few things which perhaps did not go as well as they should have from the Indian team's point of view, which you feel they should focus on or pay attention to as they go into the next test?
No, I don't think there is anything to be picked up as a negative point or something which India didn't do well in this test match. Maybe, I mean, if you really dissect the team, then probably the performance of Stuart Binney. But let's be honest, he's into his second test match, and we need to give him some time to settle down. And the way usually the pitches are in England traditionally, if those kind of pitches come, I think Stuart will be a handful with his 10-15 over spell where he can get a couple of wickets. But apart from that, the question is going to be about Jadeja. I mean, yes, he's performed exceptionally well in this test match. But is he your first spinner in the team is the first question which we need to think of. And whether Ashwin probably can come in and, have a 5-wicket haul. So that's something which is something to be thought about. But otherwise, I think the bowlers have done well. The performance of Shami is also a little question. He's not running in the way he used to do in the couple of series earlier. But I'm sure greats like Wasim Akram, who've been spending time with him there in England, have spoken to him, and he's trying to improve upon what he needs to do for the next test match.
Okay, so Ayaz, what have you spotted? Okay, the first part is what are the things, I mean, as they go into the next test, what should they be careful about? I mean, lessons despite the victory.
So I'll speak like a wise old cock because I've got more white hair than Anand has. We need to ensure that we don't become casual about it. I won't even say cocky, but you can become a little casual. You can say, okay, we won at Lord's, and there's a sense of relief which relaxes the tension, the good tension that helps you win. And I can tell you that this happened in the last series against England at home. We won at Ahmedabad, lost at Bombay, lost at Kolkata, and lost the series. So you need to be regimented about going out there. This is a long series. This is a 5-test series.
Correct.
If it was a 3-test series, then you were not in danger of losing the series. At best, you could have drawn the series. Here, there is still a threat that you could end up losing the series. So you need to guard against that. And that's really the job of the captain and the team management and the senior pros. Where individual players are concerned, I think, yes, there are a few things that will be top of the mind for Dhoni. Shikhar Dhawan, he's been getting starts, not got a big score. I don't think Virat is an issue, though he's not made any runs, because I think the bigger worry will be for the English players. They'll be fearing a backlash from this wonderful young batsman. Jadeja, point taken, what Anand is saying, because, is he your frontline top man, or is it Ashwin at Southampton?
So Jadeja made 3 and
he made 68 in the second
68,
innings.
Yeah.
Bowled very steadily. He's not a great wicket taker in these conditions.
Right.
But the next match is at Southampton, where the pitch could be drier. You know, it could be a little warmer there. Maybe they need to play 2 spinners. They might choose to place 2 spinners, in which case the option could be to keep Stuart Binney out and get Ashwin in.
Right.
So there are all kinds of permutations
But
and
you're saying
combinations
that,
possible.
but this is really a strategy. I mean, it's a matter of strategy for that test, which is important. I mean, but broadly, you're not seeing anything.
I'm not seeing. In fact, I see a great deal of momentum with India, a sense of positivity about this team. They've come out of, you know, serious crisis in both test matches. They've been bailed out by the tail enders at times, which shows that there is a certain meanness of spirit which is important in a sporting conflict, which is coming through. Earlier, you would have expected the Indian tail to just virtually give up. Here, it's not the case. Obviously, people are learning to be better batsmen, even tail enders now. But be that as it may, I think this team has shown a lot of spunk and spirit and ambition.
Right, and that's a good note to end our discussion. But hope that all this carries on to the next test that's coming up at Southampton, and we're of course going to come back on Cricket-O-Mania in a couple of days and obviously talk about the India-England test. Just to sum up, India beat England after 28 years at Lord's. It's truly a momentous occasion. Let's hope there are many more. Thanks for watching Cricket-O-Mania.